Hello all. All right, we are back. We got to keep building up our cities. We got to get those 15 cities up to 100,000 population, which really just means feeding them um, as we can. Let's see where. Come on, let me see my cities. Okay, so we got Nashville. Now Nashville has beer. Memphis does not. Um, I kind of feel like some of these warehouses could probably use some beer. I wonder if I start um, feeding in, because you can see here Houston still needs beer and wheat. Now on the last time I did set up a train going from Nashville to Houston, and I think Nashville to San Antonio, and Nashville to Odessa with beer. Make sure that's correct. Did I do a Nashville? Yeah, Nashville to Odessa. It's full of beer, so it's on its way. It's just going to take a while to get there. But the other thing that Houston needs is wheat. I'm not sure that they're getting wheat. Um, I do have wheat here in warehouse 12. Do I have a train? I don't have a train going from warehouse 12 to San Antonio or to Odessa, so I think I'm going to set that train up. So it's going to be freight, warehouse 12 to San Antonio. Um, I'm not gonna indicate what it should take. I'll just let it sort of bring whatever it wants. Yep, it's going to bring some wheat, so that's good. I'm going to set up another train going from that warehouse to Houston, and it's bringing wheat as well, so that's good. All right, so this warehouse, does it actually feed into so this warehouse actually isn't feeding into anything, so let's see, does it feed into the other side? Do I literally have no trains? The only trains I have are the salt that's going in. Okay, so I'm going to set up some trains so that Warehouse 13 can start feeding other cities. And I don't know what cities they're going to feed, but we're going to feed into Houston. It may actually be that it doesn't need anything in Houston except the fruit, but we'll go ahead and feed it, let it feed whatever it wants. It's taking cattle and corn, so we'll let it go. I'm even going to set one up to feed San Antonio. And then we're going to set up another one to feed Odessa. And then we're going to set up another one to feed El Paso, because I really need to get all these cities up and running. Tucson, it's up to 60. We'll get it there. I'm going to put in a museum to help it be a little bit more satisfied. Let's see what does they could use wood, corn, wheat, all kinds of good stuff. Let's see if there's. Am I taking anything from this warehouse over? I do have one train coming into Tucson from warehouse 11. I'm going to go ahead and clone it, adding a second train to bring in some additional supplies. I think it's also bringing in stuff from warehouse 8 and warehouse 2. Let's look at our task list real fast. So we're still working. Tools are being made, businesses, vegetables. So really at this point I just got to get those cities. I've only got 5 cities that have a population of 100,000, and I need to get more. So that means El Paso. But as you can see here, everything is good for El Paso. They're growing, 32,000. Odessa's growing. San Antonio's growing. Houston's growing. So that's good. All my cities are growing. Now I will say the one thing that they seem to be in need of is wood. And who's got wood? Warehouse 12 Could probably use some wood. I'm looking to see who's... Now, Warehouse 10 definitely has wood. They actually have a lot of wood. So I'm going to start using Warehouse 10 to feed these other cities as well. Now, right now I've got one going to Odessa and to San Antonio. I'm going to add another one to feed El Paso. It doesn't hurt to send one. Hopefully it'll take wood. Yeah. All right. That way I can get these freight trains bringing the supplies from the warehouses to these different cities. So we're gonna build up Houston, San Antonio, Odessa, and El Paso, as well as continue to send beer from Nashville, because Nashville's got plenty of beer. So let's take a look at which cities it is supplying. Nashville to Houston, that's beer. Nashville to Odessa, that should be beer. Is that right? Yep. Nashville to San Antonio, that's beer. I don't have a Nashville to El Paso. I'm going to go ahead and send a beer train to El Paso as well. It's not going to hurt. Actually, you know what I could do is I could start, let's see, do I have any room? I don't have room in Warehouse 10. I was thinking I could go ahead and just start filling up the one of the warehouses down there of beer. What if I filled up this warehouse, like just dumped all the beer into there and then started feeding that into the main line? I would have to take it out this way and then around here into the main line, which could be doable. That's not really much of an issue. Actually, before we even do that, let's see if we can. Let's see if it'll even work. Yeah, that works, except I need it to be over. Huh. Why did it do that? Okay. Let's see. This is a weird way to run it, but we're gonna do it that way. Just because I think I like the idea of filling up this warehouse of beer. Now I just have to make sure that I have the connection, which I do. Wait, what trains do I have going there? It's all those quarry trains. Okay, that's fine. That's totally doable. All right, let's set up our warehouse for beer and start filling it up with beer. Because everybody wants beer. Beer's delicious, so. And that is going to go from Nashville just to this warehouse. It's going to be... I'm always a little cautious to make it full, just in case. I don't want it just sitting there taking up a space in a train station. So we'll prioritize beer if for some reason, and then we'll clone it maybe 3 times. Because I can see here I've got some train that has nothing, and that's just a Nashville to Memphis. Oh, I probably have it set to freight only, and it's not taking any freight. Probably because Memphis has all the beer it can want. Yeah, it's got plenty of beer, doesn't really need it. All right. So tool production is going. Now what I'm going to do now is set up a freight from Warehouse 9 to Houston. And you know what? I might even set it up Maybe we'll set meat in here as well. That way it'll bring meat back to Memphis. It'll help Memphis grow as well. Um, so we'll do one to Houston. We'll send one there to San Antonio. I'm going to prioritize, we don't want it taking back meat. So Warehouse 9, it'll prioritize beer, but not take back meat. And then it can take back whatever else at once. I'm going to do the same thing on that Houston one too. I'm going to prioritize beer and then forbid it to bring back or take back meat. Okay, so we've got 2. Let's get another one. Going to Odessa. Warehouse 9 to Odessa. And again, it's going to prioritize beer, not meat. Again, it's really, at this point, it's taken wood because there's just not enough beer in the warehouse yet because, oh, sorry about that, because I just started feeding beer into it from Nashville. So it's going to take a while to build up the beer supply, but as you can see, it's got plenty of wood, lumber, other stuff, so, and that's good because Memphis needs to keep building tools. But you know, Memphis at this point also needs sugar, cloth, dairy, all those other things. So at this point, I'm going to start thinking about building warehouses for Memphis, Nashville, and Atlanta. And then, or actually, maybe I'll think about Nashville and Memphis, building warehouses for those. And then I will do another set of warehouses up here that's going to feed Washington, Charlotte, Atlanta. So the way I'm going to do it, I think this is going to work. I'm going to set the warehouse here, and then I'll set another one maybe over, you know, down on the other side of Charlotte. And I think what I'll do is I'll just feed in a bunch of commodities into these, and then I'll, you know, resend them out to DC, Charlotte, Atlanta. Okay, so I'm going to put one there, and probably, I'll just put it like that. One there. Now the question is, which commodities do I want to put in each? Let's get our little train station set up. So at this point, so for this one, I'm actually going to put in a double because I can put salt and wheat, and I'll just set it up so that each one, or do I want to do it? Maybe I'll do it with a signaling. And then I'll set it up to, I'll just do the signaling control, and that way they can pick and choose, but it'll get both. But for these other ones, I'm just going to do a single. Alright, so you are going to send supplies over here to that warehouse. Now let's see, Atlanta. I don't remember what Atlanta and Charlotte are making. Doesn't really matter. So let's see, I think I'll put milk into this one. So this one's going to definitely need cattle, it's going to need wheat and vegetables. I'll go ahead and put meat over there as well. I'll run it into the back. Now sugar, I'm not sure where sugar is going to go. It's probably going to go into warehouse 15. And I'm just going to jump the tracks, run it into the warehouse, and then I'll run it out of the warehouse to the different cities as needed. So this one is going to hold cotton, sugar, corn, as well as salt and wheat. And then this one is going to hold wheat, steers. Actually, you know, I might go ahead and just run that wheat since it's already there. I'll just run it all the way down here and fill this one up. And it's also going to need vegetables. So I'm going to stick some vegetables in just like that. Let's see the best way we can make that work. Yeah. All right. Let's see, is that going to be enough? Now, do I want to put in... Now, I do have steers down here, and if anybody needs cattle, it will get up from there. I'm not going to worry about this one just yet. I'll leave it for now. And I will come back and worry about Memphis and Nashville in a bit, but I'm not going to worry about it just yet, especially since, you know, there's dairy over there and cattle, but we've already got those. So basically the sugar... Sugar, cotton, which I know DC needs. You know what else is definitely needed is wood. There is wood over there by Nashville, but then there's also wood here. Since I have plenty of money, I might just jump the tracks. And I might even see if I can get, oh, that works right there. I might go ahead and bring in, I might as well bring in wheat and sugar from there as well. If I'm going to do that, I might as well bring in the cotton as well. I'll set those trains, even though it's hooked to both farms, I'll set the trains to prioritize cotton. That way we got plenty of cotton coming in. All right. I mean, in this case, definitely the wood is going to be our most important asset. Now, the big question is I need to make sure I'm not messing things up, because I decided to put wheat over here, which means I'm going to have to run this wheat over there as well. But then I'm going to put sugar over here, which means I'm probably going to be running like one train to one warehouse and one train to the other warehouse. Which is fine. That's a totally doable thing. It's not that big of a deal. But then the wood, I think I'm going to run the wood over here. So can I run the wood there? Let's think about it. We've got cattle, we've got wheat, we've got vegetables, we've got dairy. I could put wood, and actually that would be good. That's only 5 items, so I can definitely do that. So let's go ahead and switch gears to track construction, and I'm going to start building my tracks. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, where I'm just going to build a bunch of tracks, and then I'm going to let it, you know, I'm going to set them all up that way, because as I'm building the tracks, the timer stops, so it's not harming me to do so. All right, so I had to set a little bit of a... Alright, so then I'm going to set this like that. I want to make sure, because I also need to make sure I leave enough room for my warehouse so that I can send trains out to both Charlotte and then also to Washington, D.C. So in this case, I'm actually going to push this over just like that. Alright. Cost me $1 million, but as you can see, I got a lot of money. So I'm going to build a super double track all the way down here, just like that. But trying to make sure, let's see. I think that's actually fine. That's going to be totally doable. So we are going to build that track. Now in this case, I'm going to loop it around like that, and then I'm going to bring this right into this Washington, D.C. Come down the side here, just like that. Perfect. And again, I'll also come back in and I'll put my signals in a bit as well. So this going to come right over there. Pretty short track. Got that built. Alright, this one is going to go from here. We're going to come out a little bit so it doesn't... Oh, yep. Alright, sorry about that. I had to pause for a second. I am back. I had my neighbor come over. Let's keep going. Alright, is that good? That looks good. Let's build that. Get our second line in. Okay. Let's build that one. Alright, so we got veg hooked up. We've got wood hooked up. We've got Washington hooked up. Let's get our dairy hooked up. Dairy. There you go, dairy. Alright, so dairy. All those things look good. I'll go ahead and put in my signaling as well. Got that one. Let's get this one in. Oops. I saw this morning Attican playing Port Royale. That looks like a fun game. I am going to have to play that. I've never played it before. It looks like this is the 4th one, but I've never even heard of it before. I don't play a whole lot of video games. Oh, this is not even going to let me... Alright, so I am going to have to fix that that line to the vegetables, because it's just not even giving me any... Let's just go ahead and demolish. I mean, in all intents and purposes, I probably don't even need more than one. I'll just feed one into it. That's probably going to be just fine. Although, actually, I'm going to go ahead and just delete the whole thing. I think what I'll do is I will set it up like that. Get it pretty far away. Now I can go back in, run my lines. So my line is going to go in like that. I'm going to build that. But then I'm going to loop it around the back. Ugh, I hate when it does that. There we go. Alright, so we build that. Now I can go back in and put in my signals. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we've got that warehouse all set up. I'm not going to put in the trains just yet because I want the clock to still stop while I build the rest of my stations and so forth. So for this one, now this one, I know I'm going to need a line from the warehouse into Charlotte. Let's do it like this. So I'll build that. Come down here. Huh. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we've got that. Oh, no. It still didn't like that. I'm still pretty sure I can get this to work, right? Okay. Yep, that looks good. Let me build that one, so that's good. All right. So this one. Now this one I'm going to have wheat and salt. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're just going to take it straight down like that. And that one's going to go in like that. But then at the same time, I'm going to build a little crossover. Because I want to be able to come into warehouse 14 with the wheat. So I'm going to run wheat into that. So let's see, we're probably going to take it in right about there. Make sure that's in the right spot. Sometimes I cross over and I put them in the, yep, that's the right. So we got there. Oh, no. Let's try that again. Go over here. Lock it into place. Lock that one into place. Build. That way I can run I'll run salt into warehouse 15, but then I will run the wheat down here. Or I might go ahead and put salt down there as well. It doesn't really, it's not going to hurt anything. Now this one I'm obviously going to put in cotton, and then we're going to put the corn in the other back side here. Build that, lock that into place. Build that. Alright, what else do we got to build? So actually we're looking pretty good. Now I am going to run this one. Oh, I got to get that. Let's take this right out here, straight over to Lee Manor and get some sugar. It's going to go underground. I'm okay with underground. It's not that big of a deal. So it's pretty much just straight over. Now I do have an issue because if I want to bring this sugar and cotton over as well, I might need to do something a little tricky. Now for the wheat, I'm going to run it over into this line and run it to warehouse 14. That's not an issue. So let's get that one. Let's get that done now. But it's not going to let me, because that river is right there. It's not going to let me. It's not going to let me do it. Interesting. Let's see if it'll let me do it like that. Okay, I'm going to have to, let's see if I remove that. Okay, so if I remove that, it seems to work fine. You know, I don't know if that is, oh yeah, that's definitely not going to work. Let's see if this will let me build out over this way. Nope, it sure is not. You know, sometimes this happens and you just gotta keep going back and forth. Let's see if we can get that one to work. I kind of want to come up a little bit just so I don't... So I don't get backed up into that, there we go, into this logging. I might even add a couple of extra stops onto there just so that I don't have any issues. Because right now I could have like maybe like, well, I mean actually at this point I could only have 2 trains and then 1 in the station. So I could have a total of 3 before it backs up past this one. So I would definitely need to be careful with that. Okay, so you know, for now, I'm actually going to demolish this. And that's because I'm gonna run this line over, and I want to be able to, you know, not have any issues. Which, that looks like a weird issue, but I mean it worked. So it let me build the track. Let's go ahead and build our, let's make sure we lock it in place. Now I don't really have anything else coming into that. So I think it's going to be fine. We're going to build that. This might be one of those situations where I just go ahead and run wheat into both of these stations, since I'm not going to have either, or I'm sorry, warehouses. It might be easier just to go ahead and do it that way. Now this one I'm going to... Sometimes when you got a bunch of mountain like this, it's hard to let's see. That works. I'm not gonna lose too much sleep over it. Except it's not gonna let me do this double. Let's try it again. Put it right there. Put the other one right next to it. There we go. Okay, so now we've got cotton, wheat, sugar, wood. Now this sugar is not hooked up yet, but this one will be an easy one to do. Let's see if I want... Ooh, actually it will not be so easy to do because that is all trickery. Aye, aye, aye. I mean, it is what it is. We put it right like that, and I will run it over the same way that I ran that one over. Except it's not too happy because of the okay, there we go. Let me turns just to make it a little bit easier. Do that. That one's going to come over here. So this one is what I'm actually going to need to. It's just not going to let me build it, looping it around. Well, let's build that for now and see if we can make it work. Because I feel like we can probably get it to work. See if we do it that way, and maybe if we remove that track point it would work, but it does not look like it is going to let me. Let's see if we play some mind games. Well, it is not. It's all good. Because what we can do is we will just clear planning. We will just come out like that, and then over like that. As you can see, I definitely don't have any issues building a ton of tracks. Looks like a hot mess when it's all over, but at this point I'm really just trying to win. I mean, isn't that always the goal, right? It's a little wonky, but it'll work. It'll work. So, okay, so we've got that hooked up. Now, again, I do want to get Atlanta hooked up to this warehouse because I want to be able to feed it resources from here. Let's see if we do it like this. There we go. Get that down here. So we got that. Okay. I think we are looking good. We got corn, we got wheat, salt, cotton. Atlanta is hooked up. Charlotte's hooked up. I can also run it over to Washington, D.C. We've got sugar, wheat, cotton, wood, all coming down. Charlotte has beer, and Washington has beer, and Atlanta has... Okay, so Atlanta has meat. I don't know why it wasn't showing me the meat. So Atlanta has meat, Nashville has beer. So meat in this case is going to be very critical. So I might even set up a you know, some lines between Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, and throw some meat on there or something, or do some freight lines in between there, just so it can exchange meat. So I think we're ready to, well, I still need to add in my signals. So let's get our signals all in. Multi-signals on both sides. This is going to be get that done. Let's get this line done. Okay, let's get this line done. All right, that's looking good. Let's get this line, these lines done. All right, those are looking good. Those are looking good. Let's get these done. That looks good. All right, I also need to get these in. Okay, got those in. Oh, gotta get these in. All right. So I think we're good, right? Signals, signals, signals. The nice thing is I can move out. I can see the red dots. So I can see that all my signals are in place. So at this point, it's really just about adding in a ton of trains. I am not going to submit you. This video has probably gone on long enough to that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to set up my, I'm going to go ahead and stop it here, and then I'm just going to throw in all the trains, and then I'll start up the next video once I have all the trains on the tracks, and then we can start going from there. And as you can see, I just want to point out, time-wise, it's August 1867. It's getting close, because remember, all the tasks need to be accomplished by 1870. So I still have quite a bit to go. I'm going to look at the task again real fast here in just a second. I just want to take another quick glance at all of these lines, make sure I've got everything between Atlanta and Washington. Plenty of lines. I've got my 2 warehouses set up. I'm going to start feeding all of those commodities to those 3 cities. And then I'm going to set up some more warehouses, or maybe I might even just run the warehouses. Houston has a warehouse, and then these 2 warehouses, I might even run those into Nashville and Memphis as well. I might throw in an additional one here. I could even, toss in the wheat, the dairy, the sugar, even the fruit over here, and get the fruit over, bring the fruit over, and see how that looks. I've already got wood flowing into the warehouse for Memphis, but I might throw in an additional warehouse to feed Nashville and Memphis these commodities that are all down here. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and I will see you next time. Now, the next time I see you, I will go ahead and have all the trains put into place for all these lines and warehouses, because I built the lines, I built the warehouses, but I don't have any trains on them yet. But next time I do a video, I will have all those trains in place. But before I let you go, I'm going to take a quick look at the task list. I want to be careful because as soon as I open the task list, the clock starts ticking again, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But let's look at it. All right, 5 railroad cities with an attraction. That's not a big deal. Passengers are looking good. 548. We're going to get there. 15 cities. I've only got 5. I need the rest of them to build up. 500 loads of tools. I've only got 144. That's not a big deal. 10 industries and businesses. I own 7. I'll just buy up 3 more. That's not even a big deal. All right. With that, I will pause it and thank you all, and I will see you next time.